Right now in Georgia, a major bust involving dozens of current and former correctional officers. The FBI arrested nearly 50 people in this whole drug trafficking ring. CNN Justice correspondent Pamela Brown has the scoop, and also joining us, CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Sunny Hostin is with us. But Pamela, first to you, what's the story here?
Well, this undercover operation, Brooke, led by the FBI, shows widespread corruption in the Georgia state prison system. The FBI arrested 46 prison guards from 9 different state institutions, saying that they were using their law enforcement credentials to help facilitate drug trafficking outside of the prisons for thousands of dollars. And they allegedly believed an undercover FBI agent was actually a drug dealer working with the Mexican cartel. And get this, 5 of the guards worked for an elite tactical unit that was in charge of weeding out drug trafficking in prisons.
Wow.
Here's what the U.S. Attorney John Horn had to say.
In a series of undercover operations, more than 45 corrections officers used their law enforcement status to protect purported methamphetamine and coke deals in exchange for thousands of dollars in cash bribe payments. During several of the undercover transactions, the corrections officers wore their Georgia Department of Corrections uniforms and their badges. And the benefit of doing that is that their presence would thwart and deter other legitimate law enforcement from investigating and preventing those crimes.
In addition to the officers, 1 inmate and 2 civilians were charged in this drug trafficking ring. And some of the officers, Brooke, were also accused of smuggling in contraband, such as liquor and cell phones, for the inmates to use. This is only in Georgia. It makes you wonder where else this is happening in the U.S.
Thank you. You just teed me up for Sunny Hostin, because I'm looking at you and I'm thinking what happened in New York and the hacksaw blade and the meat from that whole crazy story. Then you have this in Georgia. How widespread could this be?
You know, this is not the norm, certainly, that you have this kind of conspiracy with upwards of 50 correctional officers. But I have to say, this sort of corruption in the state prison is not new to the federal government. It's not new to FBI investigators. I remember when I was a federal prosecutor, we did have a problem with cell phones. Being smuggled in and out of prison. And what happens typically when you have that cell phone contraband problem, inmates inside of the prison continue to operate their criminal enterprises outside of the prison, and that is a significant problem. Remember, I think years ago, Charles Manson somehow got his hands on a cell phone, so that's a significant problem. This, though, is really unusual, in my opinion, because you have, as Pamela mentioned, the very tactical unit that was assigned to root out corruption, to root out drug smuggling, involved in actual drug smuggling. I can tell you in my experience, that is very unusual. And I really wonder how far up this goes, because what you want to do as a federal prosecutor, and here you have 8 federal indictments coming out of the U.S. Attorney's Office, you want the biggest person, you want the big fish. So I suspect that what we're going to see is the very beginning of this investigation, and people will start pointing fingers. So how far up did this go is the very question that I have.
Sunny Hostin, thank you very much.
You bet.
Pamela Brown, of course, thank you as well. Meantime,